Good morning, folks. Last time, which was yesterday morning, we covered the book of Daniel, chapter 9, to the end of the book. And there's some description of the beast system there. And there's some drop-off there, too, in which the angel tells Daniel, close the book up. Don't write anymore, because it wasn't time for it to be revealed. So, let's go to the revelation. Let's go to what it was revealed. And welcome to Awakening Israel. My brothers and sisters, there's nothing more I love than talking about the truth that's in the Bible. We are going to be going to the Apocryphal books today. This is the 31st of January. I did the other show a little bit earlier since I failed to do it yesterday. I was busy doing business stuff. I didn't do terribly. I didn't do really well either. But it gives me a little bit of relief. It's 6:36 in the morning, and we're going to deal with a chapter in a book in the Apocrypha. And we're going to get it also from this book, which has got a modern English version of it. I like this. I wish I had gotten another copy, a clean one, before they more than doubled in price. You can still get these. You can buy them used all day long for a couple of bucks. It's not a bad thing, except they omit verses and put in verses. They kind of deny the deity. They really screw up the spirit of the word, unfortunately. And this is the one that I like the best. And I want you to pay attention to it. This thing is not the latest and greatest. And if you go to buy it, they'll tell you there's a new version. Wouldn't you like that? No, this is the one you want. Okay, it's the read that stuff really carefully. I can't see it without my glasses on, those letters. The third edition, augmented, and it's okay. All right. I recommend this for a modern English version. It also has a different source for some of it, because there's more verses in this than there is in this. This is a little red book that you can get. It used to be, when I got this, it was $7. Last I checked, they were $12. They're probably 15 now. So we're going to read in the ancient archaic English. The King James has the spirit. It's just archaic English. And I got to put the bright light on overhead. So we're going to get right into this, because this is one of the most important things that there is. And I think I'm onto it. I think I understand it a little bit better. So of course, I really welcome your comments and clarification, because if you can tease things out and explain things to me, that's a good sign. I want you to do better than I did. Hopefully, you've got more life left in you, more years than I have ahead of me. This is super small print. I don't like it much, and I need stronger readers. These are just one power. So, to Esdras, chapter 11. Esdras, E-S-D-R-A-S, is another word. It's a Latinized version of the name Ezra. And the prophet Ezra, the book of Ezra, and the book of Nehemiah are together in the Bible side by side. They're not placed in the prophetic books. They're placed more in the historical section. And there's good reason for that. But the first one Esdras and two Esdras, which really should be called Ezra 2 and Ezra 3, since we already have Ezra 1 in the main Bible proper. These are prophetic, like, oh, well, here we go. Chapter 11. Then I saw in a dream, and behold, there came up from the sea an eagle, which had 12 feathered wings and 3 heads. And I saw, and behold, she lay her wings over all the earth, and all the winds of the air blew on her, and were gathered together. And I beheld, and out of her feathers there grew other contrary feathers, and they became little feathers and small. But her heads were at rest. The head in the midst was greater than the other, yet rested it with the residue. Moreover, I beheld, and lo, the eagle flew with her feathers, and rained upon the earth, and over them that dwelt therein. And I saw all things under heaven were subject unto her, and no man spake against her. No, not one creature upon earth. Pay attention. And I beheld, and lo, the eagle rose upon her talons, and spake to her feathers, saying, Watch not all at once. Sleep every one in his own place, and watch by course. But let the heads be preserved for the last. And I beheld, and lo, the voice went not out of her heads, but from the midst of her body. And I numbered her contrary feathers, and behold, there were 8 of them. And I looked, and behold, on the right side there arose one feather, and reigned over all the earth. And so it was, that when it rained, the end of it came, and the place thereof appeareth no more. So the next following stood up and reigned, and had a great time. And it happened, that when it rained, the end of it came also, like as the first, so that it appeared no more. There then came a voice unto it, and said, Hear thou that hast borne rule over the earth so long. This I say unto thee, before thou beginnest to appear no more, there shall none after thee attain unto thy time, neither unto the half thereof. Then arose the third, and reigned as the other before, and appeared no more also. So went it with all the residue, one after another, as that every one reigned, and then appeared no more. Then I beheld, and lo, in process of time, the feathers that followed stood up upon the right side, and they might rule also, and some of them ruled, but within a while they disappeared, they appeared no more. For some of them were set up, but ruled not. After this I looked, and behold, the 12 feathers appeared no more, nor the 2 little feathers. And there was no more upon the eagle's body, but 3 heads that rested, and 6 little wings. Then saw I also that 2 little feathers divided themselves up from the 6, and remained under the head that was upon the right side, for the 4 continued in their place. And I beheld, and lo, the feathers that were under the wing thought to set up themselves, and to have the rule. And I beheld, and lo, there was one set up, but shortly it appeared no more. And the second was sooner away than the first. And I beheld, and lo, the 2 that remained thought also to themselves to reign. And when they so thought, behold, there awakened one of the heads that were at rest. Namely, it was the one in the midst, for that was greater than the 2 other heads. And then I saw the 2 other heads were joined with it. And behold, the head was turned with them that were with it, and they did eat up the 2 feathers that were under the wing that would have reigned. But this head put the whole earth in fear, and bare rule in it over all those that dwelt upon the earth with much oppression. And it had the governance of the world more than all the wings that had been. And after this I beheld, and lo, the head that was in the midst suddenly appeared no more, as like the wings. But there remained 2 heads, which also in the like sort ruled upon the earth, and over those that dwelt therein. And I beheld, and lo, the head upon the right side devoured it that was upon the left side. Then I heard a voice which said unto me, Look before thee, and consider the thing that thou seest. And I beheld, and lo, as it were a roaring lion chased out of the wood, and I saw that he sent out a man's voice unto the eagle, and said, Hear thou, I will talk with thee, and the highest will say unto thee, Art thou Art not thou it that remainest of the four beasts, whom I made to reign in my world, that the end of their times might come through them? And the fourth came, and overcame all the beasts that were past, and had power over the world with great fearfulness, and over the whole compass of the earth with much wicked oppression. And so long time dwelt he upon the earth with deceit. For the earth hast thou not judged with truth. For thou hast afflicted the meek, thou hast hurt the peaceable, thou hast loved liars, and destroyed the dwellings of them that brought forth fruit, and hast cast down the walls of such as did thee no harm. Therefore is thy wrongful dealing come unto the highest, and thy pride unto the mighty. The highest also hath looked upon the proud times, and behold, they are ended, and his abominations are fulfilled. And therefore appear no more, thou eagle, nor thy horrible wings, nor thy wicked feathers, nor thy malicious heads, nor thy hurtful claws, nor all thy vain body, that all the earth may be refreshed, and may return, being delivered from thy violence, and that she may hope for the judgment and mercy of him that made her. Continues in chapter 12. But that's enough for where we want to get started with this. Every time I read this, it opens up a little bit more to me, but I don't have it right. At first, my thinking was the eagle was America, especially when it says it burned from one end to the other end. I think that's next chapter. But I just want to bite off this little bit of it right now. Oh, heck with it. I can't resist. You know me. I can't put it down. I guess that's one temptation that's okay to yield to. Okay. You don't have this probably, so why not read it to you? This is chapter 12. How long is this thing? Oh, yes. There's a lot to this chapter. I just want to stay with this prophecy in particular. And let me see. All right, a little bit of explanations here. So we're going to go to about 1.5 columns. There's 2, 3, 4, 5 more columns after that. So we aren't going to cover much of this. Chapter 12. And it came to pass, whilst the lion spake these words unto the eagle, I saw. And behold, the head that remained and the 4 wings appeared no more, and the 2 went unto it, and set themselves up to reign, and their kingdom was small and full of uproar. And I saw, and behold, they appeared no more, and the whole body of the eagle was burnt, so that the earth was in great fear. Then awakened I out of the trouble and trance of my mind, and from great fear, and I said unto my spirit, Lo, this thou hast done to me, that thou searchest out the ways of the highest. He's blaming himself. Where was I at? Verse 5. Lo, yet I am weary in my mind, and very weak in my spirit, and little strength is there in me. For the great fear within, I was affrighted this night. Therefore will I now beseech the highest, that he will comfort me unto the end. And I said, Lord, thou bearest rule. If I have found grace before thy sight, and if I am justified with thee before many others, and if my prayer indeed be come up before thy face, comfort me, and show me thy servant the interpretation of the and plain difference of this fearful vision, that thou mayest perfectly comfort my soul. For thou hast judged me worthy to show me the last times. And he said to me, This is the interpretation of the vision. The eagle whom you saw came up from the sea. is the kingdom from which was seen in the vision of thy brother Daniel. But it was not expounded unto him, therefore now I declare it unto thee. Behold, the days will come, that there shall rise up a kingdom upon the earth, and it shall be feared above all the kingdoms that were before it. In the same shall 12 kings reign, one after another, whereof the second half shall begin to reign, and shall have more time than any of the 12. And this do the 12 wings signify which thou sawest. As for the voice which thou heardest speak, and that thou sawest not to go out from the heads, but from the midst of the body thereof, this is the interpretation. That after the time of that kingdom there shall arise great strivings, and it shall stand in peril of falling. Nevertheless it shall not then fall, but shall be restored again to his beginning. And whereas thou sawest the 8 small under feathers sticking to her wings, this is the interpretation. That in him there shall arise 8 kings, whose times shall be but small, and their years swift. And 2 of them shall perish, the middle time approaching. 4 shall be kept until their end and begin to approach. But 2 shall be kept unto the end. And whereas thou sawest 12 heads resting, 3 heads resting, is the interpretation. In his last days shall the Most High raise up 3 kingdoms, and renew many things therein, and they shall have the dominion of the earth. And of those that dwell therein, with much oppression, above all those that were before them, therefore are they called the heads of the eagle. For these are they that shall accomplish his wickedness, and they shall finish his last end. And whereas thou sawest that the great head appeared no more, it signified that one of them shall die upon his bed, and yet with pain. For the 2 that remain shall be slain with the sword. For the sword of the one shall devour the other. But at the last shall he fall through the sword himself. And whereas thou sawest 2 feathers under the wings passing over the head that is on the right side, it signifieth that these are they whom the highest hath kept unto their end. This is the small kingdom, and full of trouble, as thou sawest. And the lion, whom thou sawest rising up out of the wood, and roaring, and speaking to the eagle, and rebuking her for her unrighteousness with all the words which thou hast heard, this is the anointed which the highest hath kept for them, and for their wickedness unto the end. He shall reprove them, and shall upbraid them with their cruelty. Then he shall set before him alive in judgment, set them before him alive in judgment, and shall rebuke them and correct them. For the rest of my people shall be he deliver with mercy, that those that have been preserved unto my borders, and he shall spake them joyful unto the coming of the day of judgment, whereof I have spoken unto thee from the beginning. This is the dream that thou sawest, and these are the interpretations. Thou only hast been meet to know the secret of the highest. Therefore write all these things that thou hast seen in a book, and hide them, and teach them to the wise of the people, whose hearts thou knowest may comprehend and keep these secrets. But wait thou here thyself yet 7 days more, and it may be showed to thee whatsoever it pleaseth the highest to declare unto thee. And with that he went away. We Protestants saw fit to remove this from the Bible. It does say to hide it, right? And you can bet that the Antichrist system that which I think is the big head, the Roman Catholic Church, you can bet that they don't read that to their people very much. I talked to a Catholic, did business with him yesterday. He didn't think anybody else should have any business in the Bible. He says they go through the Bible in 3 years in the High Mass, and the priest explains it to them. Well, I asked him, High Mass in English? No, Latin. Oh, and you understand it. Yeah, right. You got to read it for yourself, folks. You cannot let somebody read it to you like me. You have to read it for yourself. So the order of the apocryphal books in this modern English is different than the original King James order of the books. I don't have a Catholic Bible. I got Catholic friends. I've asked to borrow their Bibles a couple of times so I could take a look at it, but I really like to get one for my own shelf. I got to get a bigger rig, and I'm working on it. Say some prayers for me. I raised some money yesterday. Unfortunately, I already spent some of it. I got a problem. I like fine hardware. And in this case, my excuse was I was buying it for my great-nephews. They're coming of age, and I already got their big brother something pretty nice a while back. Got their big brother the howitzer, if you will. Got him a fighting cartridge. The boys are going to get something nice and small, though. Here we go. Much bigger print. This is good size print. It's not as big as my regular Bible, the proper name version of the King James Bible. Okay, chapter 11. On the second night, this is a whole bunch of dreams on different nights, and he's fasting and hanging out for a week at a shot, waiting for another angel to show up and show him some stuff. On the second night, I had a dream, and I saw rising from the sea an eagle that had 12 feathered wings and 3 heads. And I saw it spread its wings over the whole earth, and all the winds of heaven blew upon it, and the clouds were gathered around it. I saw that out of its wings there grew opposing wings, and they became little puny wings, but its heads were at rest. The middle head was larger than the other heads, but it too was at rest with them. Then I saw that the eagle flew with its wings, and it reigned over the earth and over those who inhabit it. And I saw how all things under heaven were subjected to it. And no one spoke against it, not a single creature that was on the earth. Then I saw the eagle rise upon its talons, and it uttered a cry to its wings, saying, Do not all watch at the same time. Let each sleep in its own place and watch in its turn, but let the heads be reserved for the last. Trinity of evil, if you will. I looked again and saw that the voice did not come from its heads, but from the middle of its body. I counted its rival wings, and there were 8 of them. As I watched, one wing on the right side rose up, and it reigned over all the earth. And after a time its reign came to an end, and it disappeared, so that even its place was no longer visible. Then the next wing rose up and reigned, and it continued to reign a long time. While it was reigning, its end came also, so that it disappeared like the first, disappeared completely. 15. And a voice sounded, saying to it, Listen to me, you that have ruled the earth all this time. I announce to you this before you disappear. After you, no one shall rule as long as you have ruled, not even half as long. Then the third wing raised itself up, and held the rule as the earlier ones had done, and it also disappeared. And so it went with all the wings. They wielded power one after another, and then they were never seen again. And I kept looking, and it was due time, and in due time some wings that followed also rose up on the right side in order to rule. There were some of them that ruled, yet disappeared suddenly, and others of them rose up, but did not hold the rule. And after this I looked, and I saw that the 12 wings and the 2 little wings had disappeared, and nothing remained on the eagle's body except the 3 heads that were at rest and 6 little wings. As I kept looking, I saw that 2 little wings separated from the 6 and remained under the head that was on the right side, but 4 remained in their place. Then I saw that these little wings planned to set up themselves and hold the rule. As I kept looking, one was set up, but suddenly disappeared. A second also, and this disappeared more quickly than the first. While I continued to look, the two that remained were planning between themselves to reign together. And while they were planning, none of the heads that were at rest, the one that was in the middle, suddenly awoke. It was greater than the other two heads. And I saw how it allied the two heads with itself, and how the head turned with those that were with it and devoured the two little wings that were planning to reign. Moreover, this head gained control of the whole earth, and with much oppression dominated its inhabitants. It had greater power over the world than all the wings that had gone before. After this I looked again, and I saw the head in the middle suddenly disappear, just as the wings had done. But the two heads remained, which also in like manner ruled over the earth and its inhabitants. And while I looked, I saw the head on the right side devour the one on the left. Then I heard a voice saying to me, "Look in front of you and consider what you see." When I looked, I saw what seemed to be a lion roused from the forest, roaring. And I heard how it uttered a human voice to the eagle and spoke, saying, "Listen, and I will speak to you. The Most High says to you, are you not the one that remains of the four beasts that I had made to reign in my world?" Yahweh made all this, "so that the end of my times might come through them? You, the fourth that has come, have conquered all the beasts that have gone before, and you have held sway over the world with great terror, and over all the earth with grievous oppression. And for so long you have lived on the earth with deceit. You have judged the earth, but not with truth. For you have oppressed the meek and injured the peaceable. You have hated those who tell the truth and have loved liars. You have destroyed the homes of those who brought forth fruit and have laid low the walls of those who did you no harm. Your insolence has come up before the Most High, and your pride to the Mighty One. The Most High has looked at his times. Now they have ended, and his ages have reached completion." Ages plural. "Therefore, you eagle will surely disappear, you and your terrifying wings, your most evil little wings, your malicious heads, your most evil talons, your whole worthless body, so that the whole earth, freed from your violence, may be refreshed and relieved, and may hope for the judgment and mercy of him who made it." Let's go on to chapter 12, like we did in the other. "While the lion was saying these words to the eagle, I looked and saw that the remaining head had disappeared. The two wings that had gone up over to it rose up and set themselves up to reign, and their reign was brief and full of tumult. When I looked again, they were already vanishing. The whole body of the eagle was burned, and the earth was exceedingly terrified." Nuclear war? Anyone? "Then I woke up in great perplexity of mind and great fear, and I said to my spirit, you have brought this upon me, because you searched out the ways of the Most High. I am still weary in my mind and very weak in my spirit, and not even a little strength is left in me, because of the great fear with which I have been terrified tonight. Therefore I will now entreat the Most High that he may strengthen me to the end." Then I said, "O sovereign Lord, if I have found favor in your sight, and if I have been accounted righteous before you beyond many others, and if my prayer has indeed come up before your face, strengthen me and show me your servant the interpretation and meaning of this terrifying vision, so that you may fully comfort my soul. For you have judged me worthy to be shown the end of the times and of the last events of these times." He said to me, "This is the interpretation of this vision that you have seen. The eagle that you saw coming up from the sea is the fourth kingdom that appeared in a vision to your brother Daniel. But it was not explained to him as I now explain it to you, or have explained it. The days are coming when a kingdom shall rise on the earth, and it shall be more terrifying than all the kingdoms that have been before it. And 12 kings shall reign in it, one after another. But the second that is to reign shall hold sway for a longer time than any other one of these 12. This is the interpretation of the 12 wings that you saw. As for your hearing a voice that spake, coming not from the eagle's heads, but from the midst of its body, this is the interpretation. In the midst of the time of that kingdom, great struggles shall arise, and it shall be in danger of falling. Nevertheless, it shall fall not. Well, sorry, I switch over to my old stuff. It shall not fall then, but shall remain its former power. As for your seeing 8 little wings clinging to its wings, this is the interpretation. 8 kings shall arise in it, whose time shall be short and their years swift. 2 of them shall perish when the middle of its time draws near, and 4 shall be kept for the time when its end approaches. But 2 shall be kept until the end. For your seeing the 3 heads at rest, this is the interpretation. In the last days the Most High will raise up 3 kings, and they shall renew many things in it, and shall rule the earth, and its inhabitants more oppressively than all who were before them. Therefore they are called the heads of the eagle, because it is they who shall sum up his wickedness and perform his last actions. As for your seeing that the large head disappeared, one of the kings shall die in his bed, but in agonies. As for the 2 who remained, the sword, war, shall devour them. For the sword of one shall devour whom was with them, war against each other. But he also shall fall by the sword in the last days. Live by the sword, die by the sword. As for your seeing 2 little wings passing over to the head which was on the right side, this is the interpretation. It is these whom the Most High has kept for the eagle's end. This was the reign which was brief and full of tumult, as you have seen. As for the lion whom you saw rousing up out of the forest and roaring and speaking to the eagle and reproving him for his unrighteousness, and as for all his words that you have heard, this is the Messiah, whom the Most High has kept until the end of days, who will arise from the offspring of David, and will come and speak with them. He will denounce them for their ungodliness and for their wickedness, and will display before them their contemptuous dealings, all secrets being revealed. For first he will bring them alive before his judgment seat, and when he has reproved them, then he will destroy them. But in mercy he will set free the remnant of my people, those who have been saved throughout my borders, and he will make them joyful until the end comes, the day of judgment, of which I spoke to you at the beginning. This is the dream that you saw, and this is its interpretation. And you alone were worthy to learn the secret of the Most High. Therefore write all these things that you have seen in a book, put it in a hidden place, and you shall teach them to the wise among your people, whose hearts you know are able to comprehend and keep these secrets. But as for you, wait here 7 more days, so that you may be shown whatever it pleases the Most High to show you. Then he left me. Deep dog ear on that page. So we ended there, verse 39 of chapter 12. This belongs in the Bible. And you can tell that there's differences that are not so subtle between these two. It's important to get the right one. It's not going to be as easy as people think to do this. I need your help. And you can help me by emailing name publishers or calling the office and asking to have your name, your phone number, email address put on the list for those who are committing to purchasing the Apocrypha. And let's get about 3,000 people together, and we can think about doing it Well, if I get 5,000 people together, we probably could do it even better. I don't know. I'd like to get the newer motorhome, but I might forego it myself. We really need to get this show on the road, folks. So like my videos, subscribe, leave comments there. I haven't busted 100 subscribers yet. Get this out there. It's not rising above the noise because Awakening Israel, that title is directed at the Jewish people more than the real Israelites. And so there's a lot of noise out there. So you found it, share it with others. Subscribe to it, don't lose the place. And if you want, speed it up. I'm not fast enough for me to tolerate myself. So if it's slow, do it 1.25 times or do it 1.5 times normal speed and get through it. These things I'm giving you are, I hope, timeless so that you can go to any one of them at any time. Unfortunately, I don't have any helper. I don't have good notes breaking these down. That would be nice to make them searchable. I am saving the recordings because I don't think YouTube likes me very much. They gave me a strike and wouldn't tell me what it was about. And I think I tell too much truth. They hate those who tell the truth. They're part of this beast system that's written about here. They hate those who tell the truth. They destroy our houses. They tear down our walls. And what have we done to them? And before you go finger pointing at a particular group of people out there, I want you to know something. This stuff is all run by your government in secret. They are just way too big for their britches. We need to chop this government down to size and save the rest of the planet from this errant bunch of Nazis in Washington, D.C. And I don't speak that in a respectful way at all. I don't like the term. I don't like its origins. I don't like its meanings. I don't like what it infers. But there's a lot of truth in it. It stood for National Socialist, the NA part, and the ZI part stood for Zionist National. And in case you're wondering, Herr Adolf Hitler may rightfully be considered the father of modern Israel. Yeah, that's right. You don't believe me? Don't take my word for it. Go read Edwin Black's book, The Transfer Agreement. It was his best work as an investigative reporter, sort of, and he writes in great detail. And you will see how there were two different groups vying to represent the Jewish people. And the one group that won by murdering the other group. You might want to get this one. I know I don't get a damn cent off these, that's for sure. But this is it's the spirit's not in this book, but it's more accessible than what we have right now. And this was edited by Coogan, and this version, what is it? It's supposed to be 2007. There's newer ones. If you go to Amazon, they'll direct you and tell you, there's a newer version. You want that, right? No, this is the one you want. It's good. Oh, wow. I haven't seen that in a long time. That's a pretty rare thing right there. Where's that camera at? It's over here. Okay. All right. I used to be on the radio. I was just starting to make it and starting to get the sponsors necessary to afford to stay on the air when I got T-boned by a fellow who was loaded up and high as hell. And I didn't get good treatment at all in that. It was a really rough one. That was more than 7 years ago, and I'm still suffering from it. Unfortunately, that stuff is going to be with me to the end. That's better light. Folks, like the show, share these things, get this word out. And this particular, I think, is a good study because most of you have never read the Apocrypha. And we've got the beast system right in there. Here it is. And you can't tell me that doesn't belong in the Bible proper. And I know some of the other stuff is kind of weird, like Bel and the Dragon, and some of the other stories are kind of cute as well. But I mean, leave it in there, you know. There's 14 books in that. It should be part of the regular Bible, according to Pastor. Oh my God. He said there should be 150. Other people say 100. These were preened out. There's 36 books referred to in the Bible proper, so I think those references have credibility because the Bible testifies to those. Y'all take care out there. Come on up. Up. Come on. She just wants to put her head on my knee. So I just rub my head. Don't bother me. I'm where I want to be. She's growing still. 58, 59 pounds. I swear the front paws popped out again overnight. And that tail is big. And the dumps are huge. She's not going to be a little girl. She's going to be pretty big and pretty powerful, which is good. I want to breed her with a good sire. I already know the guy to turn to, and I already know it's going to cost a lot of money. But I'm going to make those puppies available. I want to get her training completed before I do that. In case you're wondering, the training of the female isn't as important as the training of the male, because the male's training gets encoded in his DNA and gets passed on to his children, including the bad shit he does. That gets passed on as well. It gets encoded and passed on. You see, RNA encodes DNA, and they pulled that stuff. Well, they pulled the old experiments out of the psychology books. I might still have those. They pulled them out of there because they didn't want people figuring things out. And so basically, cannibalism works. You eat that bullshit of your enemy and you do get some of that stuff. And it's not merely as simple as just a few protein, a few grams of protein. There's more to it than that. And that's why this new technology is so powerful and works so well, is because they're using the mRNA to recode the DNA. I don't like that idea. How about you? Do you like that idea? Seriously, the proof is in the pudding. How many thousand people are we losing in America every day? Yahweh bless.